And the third goal, which could be a killer goal in the tie, that of course remains to be seen, but Ismail Assar, who was always a threat, unmarked, powered a header home. So going into half-time in this tie, but full-time on the night here. Stade Rennais 3, Arsenal 1. Arsenal have it all to do.
Well, a very frustrating night for us in France. I'm still in the studio with Johnny Cochran and David Hillier. Gents, not the result we were hoping for. We're going to take a look at what's being said on social now. Lots of comments coming in about the two danger men for Rennes, Ben Arthur and Sarr, doing their thing against Arsenal. Another one here from Stu. Arsenal just can't cope with Rennes' pace. Sarr and Ben Arthur bossing it. We have got a final tweet here. That's poor from Monreal, who struggled against the pace down that side. What was he doing? Gents, let's come to you for our initial reaction on the game tonight.
No, it's just massively disappointing. We needed a better result than this, as far as I'm concerned. We were talking at the start, myself and Dave, about just getting this game wrapped up, or certainly, you know, into a situation where we could go out and treat next week a bit more like a procession, maybe field some second-string players, and now absolute life and death game coming up next week to even stay in a competition, of which I am still confident we can do, because we can get the result, because we were so dominant in that first half. But this is what I mean when I'm talking about players being ruthless when they're in positions. Stop patting each other on the back, oh, better luck next time. No, finish your chances. It's not good enough, guys. As we go further in the competition, it is going to become harder and harder to get clear-cut chances. When you get a chance, you take it. You know, you've got to be tough on yourselves, because at the end of the day, we want to win this, of which there's no point in even playing every week if we don't want to win it. We are going to have to get a lot more clinical, because we'll be playing a lot better teams than Rennes, and I think we're better than them, but we really are going to have to show it at home now.
Yeah, I mean, even with 10 men, I expected to go out and see a significant change second half from more than half of the side. I've got to say, I thought there was a little bit of lack of I wouldn't say energy, but almost desire to go and beat these people. And we see it even with the attempts on goal. You can really want to finish it and smack it in the back of the net, or you can just hope that it's going to go in the back of the net. And I've got the feeling after the goal that we was just hoping things were going to go our way. But second half, yeah, massively wanted a change, didn't get it. And I felt that we started playing Rennes' game. You know, we played expansive football. We didn't have a nice, tight back four in a unit with our two in front. They kind of went off-piste a little bit and self-deployed, just trying to get it back for Arsenal. Whereas the best thing to do is to keep your head and believe in your own ability, because the good players are on that pitch on our side. But when they're all disjointed and not playing together, players like Ben Arthur will pick you off. They will be able to pick the pass out. They're at home. And like the commentator Tim said, they've got a full stadium. They could have filled it 3 times. They're playing with 13 players and you're playing with 10, but you're Arsenal. And you've got to have a little bit more about yourself. And it made it really difficult for this next leg as well. 1 goal if they get, we've got to score a shed load. And it's going to make it so difficult. We can definitely still do it, no doubt about it. But it's painful to watch for me, that I don't see a reaction from players who have shown me so much in the last 3 games.
Yeah, there was potentially a slight air of complacency, which you guys have been picking up on at home. I've got a tweet here to support that. Complacency of epic proportions by Arsenal. It reminds me of that game away at Monaco, of course, the 3-1 result there. Do you think that's a fair word to use, complacency?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I remember that Monaco game, and that's just brought up a lot of anger from within me, so not sure we should have. Yeah, I'm going to have to just calm down, right?
Put that aside.
And get my chi back
Focus
going
on the second leg.
But that's what the game does, though, doesn't it? Because you're watching it as a fan, but you're trying to be constructive, and you want to. You want to get out there and show them what to do. I know we couldn't. I certainly couldn't now at my age. You probably could run around with them. I don't know whether you got. I don't know whether you got the techniques. But you know, these players, you want them so much. You know what they can do. I've seen Monreal defend so much better than that. I've never seen him look like he didn't have pace.
But it's a mentality
body shape.
issue,
It's the body shape he's got himself in, because the headspace he's in, the body shape's wrong, they're off, they're not supporting and covering people. It's a bigger ask to then chase someone. You know, they've got the edge on you. And once they got that, Ren, in fairness to them, give them credit, didn't get let go of Arsenal, and I said it was like they had a wounded animal and they was going to keep chipping away at it until they killed it. And in my eyes, their manager has got to look at it and say, you killed it today, lads. You killed it for me. You've done it for them, done exactly what I asked you to do.
Yeah, it's a mentality issue, I think, with Arsenal at times, and it's one that, you know, it's the know-how. You kind of hinted at it, Dave, like in terms of being able to think, hold up, let's just be a bit smart here. Let's think about what we need to do over the course of a tie. Let's not lose it. Let's play maturely rather than act impulsive on impulse. Because at the end of the day, their third goal, there's not a left-back in sight. I don't know if there's one in the stadium. It's absolutely embarrassing. And that is a mental fragility which we still have not overcome yet.
Well, let's talk about the positives now then. Czech kept us in the tie on a number of occasions throughout that game, and lots of you have been sending in your love for him. We have a tweet here. Ben Arthur wanted to destroy Emery and Arsenal, but Czech is rolling back the years with brilliant saves. This match is fire. Czech has made so many saves. He's keeping Arsenal alive in this game. And that's all we've got on our social channels from that. Would you agree that Czech kept us in that tie?
Yeah, certainly at times. You know, he's pushed a few round the corner, some low shots that are coming in, but it's not. They shouldn't even be getting shots. We was 3-4 yards off, allowing them the time and space to shoot. The bar saved us as well. Let's not forget. You know, they've done everything they could do in their powers, Ren, and I think we just haven't done enough. We've been a steady 6 tonight. And it almost looked like some of the players were sort of settling for that. Where Guendouzi comes on, great energy, still naive positioning, sometimes a bit over-enthusiastic in areas, because he drags people into midfield areas where really there's space for your Mesut Ozils and that. So he can be guilty of filling holes at times. But I can't knock his enthusiasm. But I didn't see that from other players. I didn't see it from Torreira. Torreira was happy to just win a couple of the interceptions and play it off, whereas before he's been the catalyst to go and start a move then. But it was all like, I've done my little bit, it's your turn now. I've done my bit, it's your turn. And you can't take it for granted in this competition. They're good sides, you know.
Johnny, were you impressed with Czech?
Very impressed with Czech, but you know what you get with Czech. He's still a great shot stopper, and I don't think that's really necessarily the issue that's separating him and our first choice, which is Leno. It's more with the ball at his feet, but we've talked kind of about that before. So well done to Petr Cech. But there are other players who have not stepped up to the required level. There are certainly some players in defence who I've been on record as having a problem with, and I don't think they've shrouded themselves in kind of glory today. But for me, I thought Mkhitaryan was anonymous, and I'd like to see a lot more from him in a game like this. Ozil had a massive chance in the second half, and this is what I mean about key moments. Like, in these key moments, if you're a big player, you've got to finish it because it takes the pressure off the team. And a nice bit of play is all well and good, but sometimes you just got to get that ball over. And we have to learn, and I don't know whether some might say it's not even something you can learn, but we've got to be more clinical. That is something that, annoyingly, if Lacazette was on, I guarantee he would have scored today. Guarantee. I reckon he probably would have had a couple. Because if he gets chances like that, he's the biggest killer in our team. If he gets chance, like everyone can miss a chance, but he's the guy that if you want a chance to fall to anyone, I'd want it to fall to Lacazette, and we missed him tonight.
Yeah, we missed that ruthless, that cutting edge, and it just wasn't anywhere. And it wasn't in the tackle in defence, it wasn't in the through ball in midfield, and it wasn't in the finish up front. It was just that nice bit of sharpness at the end of a move, that little bit of quality required. Just everybody just didn't have that finishing bit.
Johnny, it's really interesting that you were saying you weren't impressed by Mkhitaryan this evening, because we've actually been getting a little bit of love for him. People have been impressed with his performance. Mkhitaryan right wing back in a back five when Arsenal in possession, and right back in a back four when they're defending. You know, he did well in that right back position. Do you not think, David? Do you disagree with what Johnny was saying, or do you know what?
I wasn't paying too much attention to Mkhitaryan, but when he was playing as part of a back four, when he filled in at right back, but when he went onto the wing back, I don't think you can assess him as being a forward playing a wing back. You've got to assess him on his defensive capabilities, and he's not a defender. You know, he's never going to be. However hard he's trying and all the effort he's putting in, he will be in the wrong position. He'll be on the wrong side of somebody, which he might as well be 30 yards up the pitch. If I'm standing that side of Johnny and the ball's there, I might as well be in the stand, because the ball goes anywhere here, Johnny's got it. And that's what he hasn't got as a defender when in a defensive position. So yeah, he puts a shift in and he does whatever the manager says, and he's quite. He ain't going to throw his toys out. Oh no, I'm not right back wing back. He does his best, and he puts a shift in. But when you're looking at results and delivery from that, I don't think we get a good return from him when he's playing in them positions. He's got to be playing off the front, where he's free from that defensive responsibility. We've got 2 central defensive midfield players. Let them pick the runners up. Let them go out to right back when the right back's pushed on. Midfield players shuffle over and fill in. That's why there's 2 of them in there. You know, it's about delegating, and I don't think he's the right man to go in at right back. I think he's a waste. I think you've lost everything that he gives the team.
Johnny, how would you respond to that tweet about Mkhitaryan?
Well, I disagree. I mean, the thing is, it's not to say that he hasn't tried. Mkhitaryan is not so much like an Ozil, you know, walks around with a languid style. He will endeavour in every game. He'll run around, and that's fair enough. But for me, I need more quality than that. And it's about goals and assists in games like this. This is a cup competition. If we don't score 2 goals at home now and keep them out, we're going out.